Tyler. Thank you so much again for making it. And it's a true pleasure to have you. Because I remember it was, I think about a year ago when one of my old colleague Axel said to me like, these guys in the US, you know, they are doing video. We need to do this as well. And we started doing it, and you get so many compliments on it. And we just found that Vidyard is the best platform to do this. So I just personally thank you for spreading this product, because I'm absolutely ambassador of it.
That's great.
I think, you know, like following your content, following your company, being at your LinkedIn, I think I have an impression of what you're passionate about, Tyler. But what are you actually passionate about?
Well, I'm a marketer by trade. I actually was an engineer originally in my life. I'm an engineering grad. I spent time as a software developer. I spent time managing partnership teams and eventually migrating over into the world of marketing. It's funny, the one profession I haven't actually done myself is sales. And I have a tremendous amount of respect for the sales community after spending a lot of time working with them in my role here at Vidyard. And one of the things I found across my different roles and as a marketer, but also an appreciation in today's world of sales, is just how important real, meaningful human personal connections really are. And it's been amplified in like this world where we have this digital divide with people where, we can't even often meet them in person, and it's just not the way we do business anymore. So I have a heightened sort of attenuation to it now by making sure, are we all doing the things we need to do to build these kinds of relationships that we need to be successful in our careers?
Yeah, cool. I definitely can relate, especially during COVID, like, just wearing a t-shirt, or like you're at home, maybe it looks like in a kid's room of one of your kids or something, or a drawing of one of your kids there. You get such a personal insight into a person's life, and you understand that it's actually a person behind the title and a person behind the screen. So yeah.
Well, one of the things that's just really interesting about that is a lot of us feel, rightfully so, that in a more virtual world where more of our communications are happening digitally and online and not necessarily in person, that we feel we don't have the opportunity to be as personal, to be as human, to be as authentic people. And it's actually the opposite, which is it's a bit of a paradox. And you think, well, how can we be more personal and human when all of our communications are over digital? And things like you said are exactly aligned to that, because we can actually be a lot more of our authentic selves when we're in our home environments, like I am here. As you said, I've got one of my daughter's paintings behind me, and
love it.
We can be a little bit more real. We can be a little bit more, I think, casual and relaxed, but we can also connect with more people in this like visual way of, us together, even on camera. And in the old world, 5-6 years ago, it was actually very uncommon for other people in businesses to see you and get to know you, because we relied on just email and in-person meetings with our champion. But all the other decision makers would never actually see us. Nowadays, it's more common that we're all at least getting on video calls. We're sending them video messages that they can watch. So it's actually a new opportunity to expand the way that we connect with people personally.
Yeah, cool. Was this one of the reasons you like wrote your book, the visual sale, or I'm very curious about this. Like once, when I'm old or not old, but more experienced and like grown up, I would love to write a book, but like how did that journey come along?
Yeah, that was a really exciting moment for me. And I co-authored a book. I think here we go. There it is, The Visual Sale, which I co-authored with a good friend of mine named Marcus Sheridan, who is an established thought leader in the world of marketing, and he wrote a book called They Ask You Answer, which is phenomenal for marketers. And Marcus and I were both very passionate about this evolution of video in both sales and marketing. But also recognizing through all the work we do in our businesses that most businesses, most individuals, most leaders still, number one, underestimate the potential of video as a way to not only improve, but to change the way that they do things in this new world. And secondly, they still find it very intimidating. They lack the practical ideas for, well, what do I actually do with it? And how do I do it in a way that doesn't blow my budget and is something that our team can really get behind? So we really set out to, when writing that book, to kind of really address those challenges that we see people are having, really understanding through lots of examples, as well as strategies, how it is that video can actually change the way you communicate in today's world, but also providing like as many tips as we can on just how to do this, like how to not overthink it, not overcomplicate it in sales and marketing, and just find really simple tactical ways to get going with video and creating a bit of a culture of video. So it was a lot of fun to write the book, to come together, to bring our stories together of what we've learned in the market. And we've gotten tremendous feedback. It seems to be a really helpful resource for people.
Yeah, it's still on my to read list. When I get like some sort of award, or I don't know, I get like a voucher, so it's on my Libris shopping list. And I've been actually recording another episode earlier this morning, and I asked that person that got interviewed, to like, hey, I'm speaking to Tyler later, do you have a question to him? And he said like how do you use video? How, like, the why video pitch, so to say, wasn't, he said like, this is great, but where do I start? And I think that's, for me personally, I can just say, like, I used to vlog when I was a kid. Like, I used to record, so it was natural, like camera, like you just speak, and then you have a result. But there's a barrier to start. Like, some people, like I had some companies speaking with, they disallow video, and I was like, oh my god, like you're losing opportunities here to build these connections, right? How do you react to like such a question? Or
well, it's a great question, because it is where a lot of people stumble, and knowing just like, what should I start doing with it? So there's kind of two different answers depending on your role or goals for your company. If you're on the more marketing, let's say, side of the business, then you need to start thinking about just really simple ways to start using video as a way to discuss and deliver and bring to life the different important topics you're out there talking about, right? I know a lot of marketing teams who still today, their content strategies are exclusively written blog posts and ebooks. And that's fine. You should be doing blogs and ebooks, but the opportunity to just pick some of those topics that you're already writing about and just think about, how can I bring that to life in a short video? It doesn't have to be a high-end production. It can feature our own people. It can be really simple with somebody in front of a chalkboard or a whiteboard, and just start simple and think of it as a way to communicate the message, but to bring it to life with real people, with real narrative and a little bit more emotion. And actually the answer on the, kind of sales or everyday business person side is very similar. It's, if you're a sales rep, if you're a team leader, whatever it happens to be, don't think about video as a whole different thing that you're going to do, or something that you need to figure out how to produce and publish and share. With tools like Vidyard, it's literally as easy to record a video and send it as it is to type an email. It really is. And I think you can attest to that. And
even faster.
Well, but the way to start thinking about it is, hey, recording and sending a video is just a different way to deliver my message, right? If I was going to type out an email to a prospect that said, hey, prospect, this is Tyler from Vidyard. I'm reaching out because of A, B, and C. We help companies do this, and I'd love to talk to you more about it. Instead of typing out that email, try hitting the record button and saying a message like that into the camera. Now, the first time you do it, it's going to feel awkward. It's probably going to suck, and you're going to want to re-record it. And that's fine, right? Just like the first cold call you made, right? The first cold call you made was terrible, and you hated it, and you wish you could have redone it. Well, the nice thing with video is you can redo it before you send it. So that's a little bit better. But it's as simple as that. Just start finding moments where you're going to send something via email and just pause and say, hey, maybe I could record a quick video to deliver this in a way that's just a little bit more personal, a little bit more real, and send it off, and don't overthink it.
Yeah, I think especially don't overthink it is like a big barrier, because the worst thing you can do is rewatch a video. You rather send it and then they say, oh, we don't have sound on that. And then like you resend it or something. So yeah, great. Fantastic. A point that I've been thinking about myself, and I've I had the pleasure to sit in a webinar with you, so you could share like best practices on how to get a video opened. Because you did it, you're like super excited. I don't know, you have a gimmick going on, you know, like you're engaging. How do you make them click?
Yeah, that's so important, right? Because we spend the time to make a prospective video, we send it over, and if they don't even open it or watch it, it's very disheartening. You spent that time to make that video, and it's almost insulting to think they wouldn't take the time back. But there's a few things that you so there's a few things you can do to really maximize that, the chances that they are going to click and watch. The first is getting the email opened in the first place, because what we're talking about here typically is sending a video in an email. And for those of you who haven't done it before, basically once you record a video, you can add the thumbnail image for that video along with a link into the body of an email. It could be you waving, it could be you holding up something, it could be a thumbnail image of something up on your screen that they might recognize, but we're sending this over typically via email. And what that prospect is going to see is that thumbnail image, whatever copy you write in the email, and so on. So a few things you can do. Number one, you got to get the email itself opened in the first place. And I actually encourage people to think about trying new subject lines that could work even better than your existing high-performing subject lines. So things like video for you, or name, I made you this quick video. Even a subject line like that, we've found time and again, boosts open rates for people, because when somebody sees that in their inbox, it creates a high degree of curiosity. They say, well, wait, somebody made me a video. So first of all, that's very different. Most people, probably nobody is making me a video at work. Secondly, it implies that person put a lot of effort into this, right? I made you this quick video. Just has that natural implication that they put effort into it, and that there may be more value in it as a result. So try a subject line like that to increase the open rate on the message. Now, once they've opened it, keep your the text copy before the thumbnail image of the video short and sweet, right? You don't want all this information and then a video, because they're going to skim the text and move on. So the goal of the text in your email, you have one goal, and that is to get them to click the play button. The text in your email isn't trying to convert them into booking a meeting or something else. All of the text in your email should be focused on getting them to click that play button. Because if they do, they're going to hear you, they're going to see you, they're going to get to know you, and you've now started to win that opportunity already. So get them to click the play button. Say simple things like, I made you this video because I wanted to introduce myself a little more personally and share a quick story of somebody who I've helped solve this certain problem. I think you might be interested. And then it's a nice short video. And here's one other really cool tip is after the thumbnail image, get rid of the line that says, can we book 30 minutes to talk more? Or are you available tomorrow for 30 minutes? I'm telling you, people see that line and they just ignore the rest of the message because they don't want to necessarily book a meeting already. So after the thumbnail image, use a sentence like this. Is the problem I just described in the video something you may need to fix? Question mark, right? It's kind of an interest-based call to action, but it drives that almost like need to go back and watch the video. Because now that person's thinking, well, wait a minute, what problem did they discuss in the video? Is it something I need to fix? Right? This is so good. A really simple idea, but it creates this open loop. And the final thing is your thumbnail image itself, right? They're going to see that thumbnail image, and that's going to be the last thing. They're going to go, okay, am I going to watch this? And the final tip there is if that thumbnail image that you put into it is somehow customized for them, that will also help you increase the click rate, because they're going to see and know visually that you really did make this just for them, that it's not a generic video you send to everybody. And that's why people do things like they'll have a whiteboard where they'll hold it up in the camera and write the person's name on it. They'll, they'll do a screen share video where they'll bring up their prospect's website or their LinkedIn profile or something else on the screen. There you go. And so when they see that in the thumbnail image itself, that picture is worth 1,000 words. And so when they see that, it's going to, again, be that extra nudge. And now they're like, this sounds interesting. I know it's a short video. They talk about a problem I need to know about, and they made it just for me. How could I not watch this?
Yeah, that's great. I'm getting excited why you share those tips and tricks. What's your like experience with like they watch it but they don't answer, or they watch it only 30%? You know,
Right.
do you have any like best practices on that as well? Like we have some, like for example, we have two different ones, like, oh, only 33%, like was my acting that bad? Always like looking to improve my skills, maybe I get a second shot.
Right.
And then if they watch it like about that answer, we go, hey, so you watched the video, you either like having like you're cranking out about my, like, I don't know, by things that I'm saying, or you're actually interested. Anyhow, if option two, I would love to learn more, like speak with you. What are your ideas there?
Yeah, there's a couple ways you can handle that. You're right. One is that you can be very transparent and almost a little bit fun in the fact that, hey, I know you watched my video, and curious about what you thought, or notice you didn't watch the whole thing. Sorry if my acting was that bad, or something like that. You can certainly try that. I think it depends on who you're reaching out to. Mm-hmm. Some people will like find that kind of very fun and vulnerable, and it might spark a reaction. Other people may find it as a bit of a turn off, because it may be the like, oh yeah, I get it, you're sending me videos just to know if I can watch them. That's a little bit overboard, no thanks. So I think you want to be careful with when you use that tactic, but it can work absolutely, especially if it's like marketers that you're reaching out to, or other salespeople, folks who may almost be in on the joke that oh yeah, I know if you're watching my video. But generally speaking, beyond that, there's absolutely other things you can do. First of all, if you know they did watch some of your video, you know that they're not shy to click a play button. So it might be worthwhile now to send them another video, and you could send it to them via LinkedIn or back again via email. But this time, go a little bit deeper on something. So if the first video you send was just you on the webcam introducing yourself and your value prop, and they only watch 20 seconds of it, the next video might be a screen share with something about them up on the screen, right? Again, it might be an article that they commented on, it might be their website, or it might be one of your own customer stories. And in this video now, you want to say, hey there, I hope you had a chance to watch my last video, but I did want to follow up with a little bit more in case you were interested in diving deeper before committing to a chat. I want to quickly share the story of this customer who's up here on the screen. There's somebody just like you, da 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 da. So it might be an opportunity to say, hey, maybe I'll send them another video because they seem like they've self-selected as somebody who's willing to click the play button. Let's try going a little bit deeper with another one. So that can be a way to do it. And then otherwise, I also encourage you to think about your multi-channel approach after sending that first video, right? So whether they watched it or not, a great way is to keep reinforcing back to it, right? Your next voicemail should probably say, hey, I sent you a video to your inbox. Not sure if you had a chance to watch it, but would really love your feedback on it, right? Like if you know they watched 20% of it, you can still leave that voicemail, right? And they're going to be like, oh yeah, I remember that. I should probably go back and respond to that person, right? So there's other ways to reinforce it. Last tip for the reinforcement is that your next email, instead of a new video, could just be the good old thoughts on the video below, ? Right? It's a really quick, simple follow-up, but it could prompt them to either re-engage with the video or to respond to you in one way or another.
That's fantastic. I'm listening. I'm happy it's recorded, so I don't
go back and take notes.
No, thank you, Tyler. It's great to hear that. I think we covered a lot on like best practices. You are a great resource. Your entire team is a great resource. I know Terrence a bit as well in your growth team. Fantastic guy.
Yeah.
The $1 million questions now. Like you must been like getting prospected a lot. What's the craftiest way you have been getting prospected?
So there's two things I could say, but I do get prospected a lot. My inbox, for reference, I'm going to open it up right now. I have 126,000 unread messages, and those are mostly sales pitches, I'm sure. So there's two things that tend to really work well with me that I appreciate. Both of them go back to reps who are putting in the effort to show up, to really show me that they know me, and to try to build a relationship, not just try to pitch me. So one is folks who, and I can think of a couple people that have done this really well, that have done a really good job of social selling. They've connected with me online. They've been following what I've been doing, but they've been very personable, amicable, interesting. And they, for the first number of months, I never got a message from them saying, "Hey, I'd love to pitch you on something." Right? It was very genuine relationship building, actually adding some value at certain times. And then, when there was an opportunity or a time for the right conversation of like, "Oh yeah, I'm interested in this area. Oh, I remember that person over here who's with that company who does this. I should probably reach out to them." Right? So it's very much that kind of organic trust building, thought leadership that that individual was doing that just made them memorable to me, that when the time was right, I reached out to them. So it's almost like that passive prospecting, which I think is really smart. The second thing, not surprisingly, is folks who have sent me really good videos. And the best videos that I've gotten are actually ones where the individual has taken the time to show me very clearly and specifically how they can help me in a way that is like almost undeniable. And so I'll give you one example. An individual at a company called Trustpilot, and they have solutions to help you get reviews on different review sites and get like 5-star ratings and things like that. And I remember this video that I got not that long ago, and the thumbnail image of the video had his face in the corner, and it had a Google search result up on the screen with a few results that were ads at the top. And I could see one was a Vidyard ad, and then there were a couple other competitor ads. And so immediately I saw this screenshot and I went, "Oh, that's one of my ads. I recognize that. Okay, what has he got to say?" So I clicked the play button, and he very clearly showed me within about a minute and 10 seconds, I think. He showed me, "Hey, Tyler, I wanted to show you how today Vidyard is showing up for these ad results. You probably recognize this. But what I also want to show you is these other results that have these 5 stars beneath them. As you can see visually, they tend to attract more eyeballs, and those tend to drive higher conversions as an ad because people see the 5-star rating underneath, and that gives them a sense of trust." And so now I want to flip over to another tab to show you how your ad might look if you actually had the 5-star rating below it. I can help you get that. If you think this is interesting, I'd love to chat with your team, right? And so I could visually very clearly see it. It was something that if he had sent it and typed it in an email, I would have been like,
Yeah.
"Nah." But it was a bit of a seeing is believing, and you go, "I get it," right? It was like a simple aha, "I get it. Absolutely. I'd be silly not to ask you a bit more about it." So there's all those great kind of techniques where it also saved me a lot of time, right? Because I didn't have to go and research or anything. I'm like 1 minute, literally 1 minute, and I got it. It was a really great experience for me as a prospect that I think others could learn from as well.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. Great example. Like 1 minute, not too short. It's like not too pushy in the CTA, and yeah, I admire that. Like a good video, but I was still surprised because like not too many people I can imagine are sending you videos. Like they probably still trying to, like, you have to use the tools where you are, right? You are the video guy. If people think about chocolate in Switzerland, good cars from Germany, then it's Tyler and video.
Well, it's funny. You would think I would be getting videos every day from salespeople, but it is still honestly a rarity that I do, which blows me away as well. But it is what I think it's an important reminder of is that this is still very new. It is still very much the bleeding edge of people that are using videos in their outreach. If even people like myself are getting maybe 1 or 2 videos a month, most of your prospects, for those of you listening, are not getting any videos today. And so it's actually part of the power of it right now is that it's not only just a great way to deliver your message, but it really stands out right now because it is new. It's a little bit novel and interesting, and it's different. Now, that's part of the power of it today. 2 years from now, look, we're all going to be saying, "Oh, not another video," right? Somebody's going to ruin it. We all ruin great things like this. So I think that, it's going to become much more commonplace in the years ahead. But I think now is such a great opportunity for all of you listening and watching that you can get in at the early stage of this see if it works for you. And if it does, I mean, it's great. And you're going to be ahead of everybody else when it does become more common, because you'll have developed the skills, the confidence. And when they're just starting to do their first videos, you're going to be at the point where you're going to be doing editing and all these cool effects and putting in a little bit of music and having some fun with it. So, now is the time.
Yeah, it's the time. Yeah, it's great. I have a follow-up question. We are already above time here. I don't want to take too much of your time, but I'm really interested in good content that you consume, because you said in the beginning, like, you still have to do like ebooks and so forth. But how do you like to consume content? And when was the last time you downloaded an ebook?
Well, I think like most people, I'm not that picky about the specific type of content. I'm not the kind of person, and most people aren't, that would say like, I only watch videos, or I only read written articles, or I only listen to podcasts. The reality is most of us expect and appreciate different forms for different things that we're trying to do, and different things that we're trying to learn. So I absolutely do, read written content. I read blogs, I read posts on social and so on. I absolutely watch videos. I find that videos, there's two reasons I will often watch a video. One is because I believe it's going to be a better way to learn about a topic, because a lot of us are visual learners. It's a very educational medium. You can, again, show rather than just tell. So if I really want to learn about a topic, I will usually start by Googling, doing some initial spot checks on blogs, things like that. And then I'll start diving into videos to start to see the ideas brought to life. Same thing with sales reps. It's always a good thing to be able to watch some of these things when you get educational. So it is a little bit of each. I would say that we are seeing the death of super long form and gated content. So kind of ebooks and white papers fall into that category. I'm not going to say that you shouldn't do it as a business, but the reality is, more and more people are not consuming those. It depends a little bit on the market that you're in. If you're in a super technical market or security people, things like that, they do like written content often because you can get very specific. But for most people out there, they're just not engaging in that anymore. And you're better off taking what you would have normally written in a 20-page ebook and making it a 4-part video series where each video is 2 to 3 minutes in length, covering parts of that topic in sequence.
Love to hear that. The person the CMO I spoke before, he said, like, I started my month 9 months ago, or my new job 9 months ago, and that's the last time I downloaded an ebook.
Right.
And I was like, oh yeah, that's true. It becomes like rare nowadays. You already touched upon that a bit, and like, please let me know when you need to leave. Like, I am not going to take too much of your time. It's like gating and non-gating. Like, what's your standpoint on that? Like, are you a fan of it? Like, you already gave me an idea on what you think is fine. Yeah, what do you like?
Yeah, I think for probably 95% of what we're putting out there as businesses, should absolutely be open, ungated content and information. We all have lead goals and demand goals to hit, but it's a bit of an outdated mindset to think that I need forms in front of these as a means to capture a lead so that I can nurture them and send them to my sales team. I think it's a very outdated mindset. And I think that most people underestimate how many individuals they're missing out of their funnel as a result, right? They'll say, hey, we put a gate in front of this ebook or this video or whatever it is, and we generated 100 new leads. But what they're not seeing is that we didn't engage 500 other people who came to the page and bounced because it was gated, right? People who would have consumed the content had it been open. And so I think in today's world, more and more, it's an expectation that, it's information is democratized. The value in our content is about educating people. It's about creating interest. It's about creating curiosity in what it is that we can do. And if you have it gated, there's a good chance your competitor has a very similar resource that's not gated, and somebody's going to find it instead. So we need to think about different ways then, right? If we remove those gates in front of ebooks and other content, we need to figure out, we do need to replace that with, okay, well, what is the new way to bring that people into our quote unquote funnel so that we can engage them and get conversations. And that's what we need to be thinking about today. What is the alternative? If you could never put a gate in front of your content, how would you drive conversions with people? And there's lots of ways to do it. But those are things that we need to be thinking about.
Cool. Like good content wise, you have any ideas, or like, because when you move away from that, the person I spoke before is like, he said like, oh, we need to, maybe webinars still need to be gated, like, because we need to be able to send out an email,
Right.
or like a specific quiz that's need to be gated. Otherwise it's really good content, right? That is interesting.
Yeah. Well, I think you're right. There's things like webinars, which by nature, they need to be able to be communicated via email with calendar information, things like that. And I think that absolutely makes sense. I think if, there's probably, here at Vidyard, for example, we put a lot of investment into, some really big research reports that we'll do maybe twice a year. And we will often have those gated.
I don't know about them, I think.
Well, we will, but the interesting thing that we'll do is we will often gate them on a page that we're promoting to external third-party audiences, right? So people we don't yet have a relationship with, if we're doing promotions via third-party channels, those people will land on a page that does have a form to unlock the research, and we have kind of our own demand goals there. But we will also have a page with that resource that's ungated, and that's what we'll share with our existing community, right? Our customers, people who are kind of already organically coming to our website, we'll direct them to the ungated version of it. So we're always kind of have that dual mentality as well, and say if there is a hero asset that we think makes sense to gate, does it make sense to also offer it ungated for, again, people who are already engaging with your brand? And I think that's a smart thing to think about as well.
Fantastic. Last question here is what are you excited about in the space?
Well, there's a lot of things that get me really, really excited these days. But I think the big area that I think a lot about, and I get excited when I see people doing well, is just this very simple idea that's hard to execute, but it's a simple idea, which is, can we just market and sell the way that people genuinely want to research and buy, right? Like, that's it. That's really all we need to do as a community, because we've spent the last so many years focused on building automated processes and conversion points and different colored buttons and gates and all these things, thanks to the rise of marketing tech and sales tech and everything online. We've focused so much on creating sales and marketing processes that are based on how we as businesses want to market and sell, how we want to engage, right? We want their contact info. That's why we put a gate up, right? We prospect in a certain way. We're always asking for a meeting because that's how we do things, right? Well, if you put yourself on the other side, like, mystery shop your own company and feel the experience for yourself, right? Find all those points of friction, all those times when you're being asked for your information, all those times when you're being bullied into taking a meeting, all those things that are things you're like, I don't really want to do that, but right? If you don't, neither do your prospects. So rethink it, right? Rethink it through that lens and go, hey, that's back to one of the very first things we talked about, is that you don't always have to ask for a 30-minute meeting when you're emailing a prospect. In fact, you should rarely ask for that. You should only ask for that once you've created a conversation, right? And I think that's what we really need to be mindful of today. And I get excited when I see people doing it. I see more people doing it than ever right now, of trying to create these really buyer-centric, more friction-free experiences that are aligned with how they want to consume and interact today, because it's different from 10 and 20 years ago. It's different. They want more self-service. They want more control. They want more liberty. They want more things shared with them that they can consume on their own time. They don't always want to book a meeting. They don't always want to talk to sales, but that doesn't mean the sales rep is irrelevant, because the sales rep becomes the person who helps them, who shares information, who educates them offline, right? So that's the stuff that gets me going.
Oh, fantastic. I actually had the pleasure to speak to Matthias, who was, I think, the head of strategy at GetAccept. And what they are doing right now is introducing someone, it's in between a customer success and a sales rep, someone who's helping in the free trial.
Right.
Like this form of rep.
Yeah.
So this is exactly what you were addressing, right? When they're already in the trial, then they have no quota on sales. They're just there to educate and so forth. So,
we have that. We actually have that model here as well. We have coaches. Oh. They're called coaches.
Yeah.
And we have a small team of them, and they work across our base of users, so both free users. So if we're finding free users, particularly if we find that, hey, this company has 5 different free users all at the same business, we know that they could get more value out of our team's product than just the free version. So we'll offer them a coaching session proactively. Now, again, that coach, to your point, doesn't have a quota. They're not on, but we'll prioritize, right? Like, who do we think you're going to get the most value out of coaching? And again, yeah, they'll offer free coaching sessions that they'll get to know the business a little bit, share some ideas and some tips, and it like builds a relationship with them. And it's it's something that feels risky to do as a business, because you could keep hiring as many coaches as you want and like never run out of time or energy for things to do. But little things like that really help. And it's back to that point of like, even from like a business strategy perspective, a free product that people can try. That's how they want to operate today, right? That's why we as well, we introduced a product-led growth strategy about 4 years ago. People want to try products before they buy. They want to be helped to learn, to see success with it before they make a decision. All of those are nuanced things that go back into this point of like, let's operationalize our business the way the modern people want to do things. And yeah, it's a big deal.
Tyler, thank you so much for that conversation. Is there anything you would like to add that is unsaid, or you felt?
I think this is great. I mean, I appreciate the opportunity, and obviously feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. Anybody out there that's watching, listening, or reading, and happy to share a lot more there for people who have questions.